Good morning, boys and girls. I hope you're having a great day so far. Today's video is covering packet number 4, day 2. So remember, at the end of each week of packet 4, you're going to be sending me 2 pieces of work from each subject. So 2 from reading, 2 from writing, 2 from math, 2 from content. So at the end of each week, you should be sending me 8 pieces of work for me to look at. So let's go ahead and start. Like I said, we're on packet number 4, day 2. So that's where you should be looking in your packet. The first column says phonics. Read the following sentences and highlight the words with the S blend. Draw a picture on paper to go with each sentence. So to review what S blends are, it says we can use the blend chart located in the resource section for this activity if needed. So just to do a quick S blend review, I'm going to share my screen, with you. Okay, so if we're looking here, look right here. It says blends are when we have 2 letters and 2 sounds. Digraphs are when we have 2 letters and 1 sound. So our digraphs are things like this. Sh, ch. There are 2 letters there, but they only make 1 sound. Blends have 2 letters and 2 sounds. So today we're looking at S blends, which are right here. We have sk, like scarf. We hear both that S and C. Sk, skate. We hear the S and the K. Same for smile, stamp, snow, swing. We hear that S paired with another consonant, and we hear both of those sounds. So today we're looking for S blends, and these are some examples of those. So let's go back to where the directions are. Okay, so it says, read the following sentences and highlight the words with the S blend. Draw a picture on paper to go with each sentence. So this first sentence says, he will slip if he runs too fast. Where do you see an S blend word in that sentence? I see one right here. We have an S paired with an L, and we hear both of those sounds. Slip, we hear sl. So this word slip would be our S blend word. So you would highlight or underline that word. And then it says to draw a picture to go with each word. So you could, on a blank piece of paper, copy this sentence, underline or highlight the S blend word, which we said was slip. And then next to it, draw a picture to go with the sentence. He will slip if he runs too fast. So I would draw a picture of someone running too fast. Maybe they're about to slip. Then you would do the same thing for all of the other sentences. Look for the S blend word to underline or highlight, and then draw a picture to go with each sentence. If you need to look back at the S blend example page, you can absolutely do that. The next part is a phonological awareness part of the packet. It says, read the word out loud below. Ask your student to repeat the word, then say and count the sounds in each word. So if this is your parent will say shape. Then you will say shape. Sh, a, 3 sounds. So you're going to repeat the word back, break the word down into its sounds, and tell your parent or adult how many sounds that word has. You're not breaking it up into syllables. You're breaking it up into the word's sounds. So you're going to do that for shape, coast, farm, joy, and scoot. You do that for all of those. For the reading part, it says, read Swiss Fun Run to your favorite stuffed animal or a family member. I will read it to you once on here. Then it's your job to read it to your favorite stuffed animal or to a family member. So that's Swiss Fun Run. So let's see if we can get to that right here. Okay. Swiss Fun Run. This is Stan and Scott. They are going to run in the Swiss Fun Run. It is not just a run. They have to swim and skip too. I cannot swim, said Stan. Let's just run and not swim and skip. Let's go run up and down the steps. We can get skills on the steps. Swell, said Scott. Let's just run up and down the steps. We can run fast. See who is last to stop. They ran up the steps. A step was wet. Stan slipped and skinned his leg. It got stiff, but he still ran. Scott and Stan ran and ran. Scott had to stop to rest. Come on, said Stan, you cannot rest. You must run to be the best. But just then Stan sniffed. I smell ham, said Stan. Let's stop and have ham. We must not stop, said Stan. We must run fast to be the best. They did not stop. It was the day of the Swiss Fun Run. Scott and Stan sped off, but then Scott slipped on a slug and fell. Stan ran fast and did not stop. He won the top spot. Scott ran his best, but he was last. So now it's your job to read Swiss Fun Run to your favorite stuffed animal or a family member. That book has a lot of S blends in it, so see if you can pick some of them out and point them out to a family member. Lots of S blends in that word, or in that book, excuse me. After that, so after you've read Swiss Fun Run, your writing part for today says, your parent or adult will ask you to orally rehearse, then write to describe which character from the book you would be friends with and why. So first you're going to talk out loud. You're going to retell the story and think about which character in the story would you want to be friends with and why. First answer that question out loud. Don't just say, I would want to be friends with Stan, because it says, and why. So you need to explain your thinking and explain why you would choose to be friends with them. Then it says, after you've said it out loud, after you've said it to an adult or your favorite stuffed animal, after you've explained which character from the book you would choose to be friends with and why, you need to write that down. So that should be complete sentences. It says, have your student reread writing and edit for capitalization, spelling, and punctuation. So after you've written that down, it's your job to reread your writing to make sure that it makes sense and to make sure that we have capital letters where they should be, lowercase letters where there should be, and punctuation at the end of our sentences. So you're going to first say out loud which character from the book you would choose to be friends with and why. Then you're going to write that down and describe which character from the book you would choose to be friends with and why. And then you'll reread it to make sure that your spelling and punctuation and capitalization is the best that it can be. For math today, I am going to share my screen. We're not going to do a practice problem because it's a little bit different. It's not a typical word problem like it was yesterday. So here's our math for today. It says, get a square piece of paper or cut out the square from the square resource document found in this packet. If you cut the square diagonally from corner to corner, you get 4 identical triangles. So if you have a square piece of paper that looks like this, you're going to cut from this corner to this corner, and then this corner to this corner. When you do that, you should end up with 4 triangles that are the exact same size, just like it shows. So let me show you. There is if you don't have one at home, There's one right here in the packet. So you can cut out the square on its outer edge, then cut from this corner to this corner and this corner to this corner to make those 4 triangles that are the exact same size. So once you've done that and you have 4 triangles that are the same size, it says, how many different shapes can you make by fitting the 4 triangles back together in different ways? Note, you may only line up long sides to long sides and short sides to short sides. So, when you're doing that, your job is to figure out how many different shapes you can make by fitting the 4 triangles back together in different ways. But it gives you a rule. It says, we're looking at triangles. You can only match up long sides to other long sides, and you can only match up short sides to other short sides. So you can't just match it up however you want. You have to follow that rule. It says you can only line up long sides to long sides and short sides to short sides. And your job is to figure out how many different shapes you can make by fitting the 4 triangles back together in different ways. But make sure you follow that rule. After you've done that, you can try and draw a picture to show the different shapes that you can make by fitting them together. You could draw a picture of them on a piece of paper just so that if you choose to send this to me, I know what shapes you were able to make. It says optional. Watch the WHRO Learn to Grow segment from 1:15 to 1:30. Practice what was talked about in today's segment. So that's another one of those TV programs that's playing some first grade educational information that you can tune into and practice what was talked about in today's segment, it says. So that's optional. If you're able to do that, feel free to. If not, not a problem. So now we're going to share my screen. Content for today. And like I said yesterday, content is the subject where we will be seeing new information that we have not learned yet this year. Reading and writing and math will be review things. Content will be new information. So this says, the British are coming. Set a timer for 1 minute. For that 1 minute, tell someone in your home as much as you can about Virginia 400 years ago. That's what the activity that we did yesterday. Remember, you had a piece of paper and you made one side say Virginia 400 years ago and the other one said Virginia today. And your job was to write down ways that Virginia looked 400 years ago and then how it looks today. So set a timer for a minute, and for that 1 minute, tell someone in your home as much as you can about Virginia 400 years ago, things that you remember from what we learned yesterday. You or someone in your home can write some of your ideas on paper. So you or the person that's listening to you can quickly write down the things that you remember and think of on a piece of paper. So then it says, read pages 40 through 43. Stop at different points and explain to someone in your home what you just read. So don't just read from 40 to 43 without stopping. It says stop at different points and explain to someone in your home what you just read. That means that that's to make sure that you're understanding what you read. If you're just reading super fast through it, you might be missing information. But when we stop ourselves and explain what we just read, that's a way for us to make sure that we're not only reading accurately, but we are taking in the information that we're reading. So I'm going to read it to you straight through, but remember, when you read it, it says to stop at different points and explain to someone in your home what you just read. So I'm going to read straight through, but you need to stop at different parts to explain what you've read. So after I read it, you need to read it. But I will get to that page now. Okay. So this says, okay, ships from England. One day in May of 1607, life changed for the Powhatan Indians. There was something strange out on the water. 3 big ships were coming closer. Who were the people on the ships? Where did they come from? What did they want? Here's our picture. And right here it says, the day different people met. What do you think these men were thinking about the ship headed toward their land? So how do you think that these 2 American Indians were feeling when they saw this strange ship pulling into their land? Leaving England. England is a small country far, far away on the other side of the Atlantic Ocean. People from England wanted to explore and find new land. More land would help them become richer and more powerful. So these are what the English settlers look like that came from England, who were sailing across the ocean and came to America. The ships that docked on Powhatan came, excuse me, the ships that docked on Powhatan land came from England. They carried over 100 men and boys and had been at sea for months. So they're from England, which is over here, and they sailed their ship all the way across to where the Powhatan live. A new start. The men wanted to start a settlement in North America. The English settlers planned to live just as they had in England. They would wear English-styled clothes, build English-style homes, and follow English laws. They named their new settlement Jamestown. Think about if you've ever heard of Jamestown. It's not far at all from where we went to school at Dutrow. To honor their King James. That's why they called it Jamestown, because the King of England at the time, his name was King James. As hard as this trip across the ocean had been, building a new settlement was even harder. So I think it just asked us to go to page 43. Let me double check, because I think there was a picture. Let's look at this picture. So we see people from the English settlers. It's a little bit blurry, but that's okay. And this is where the settlers, their ships docked. And here's the Powhatan Indians kind of checking them out, seeing what they're doing, wondering who these people are and why they're there. So after we've read pages 40 through 43, it says, let's get creative and pretend that you are either a member of the Powhatan or an English settler. Tell someone at home or write your responses to the questions below. So if you choose to be a Powhatan Indian, it says you need to answer these questions. How do you feel seeing a stranger on the land you hunt and fish on? How will you communicate with them? Why do you think they are here? Those are the questions that you need to answer if you are choosing to pretend that you are a Powhatan Indian. If you're choosing to be an English settler, you need to answer these questions. How do you feel when you first see the Powhatan people? How do you feel finally getting off of the ship? Where will you live? How will you communicate with the Powhatan? So remember, they were on a ship for months. So when it says, how do you feel finally getting off the ship? Think about how someone would feel if they had been on a ship for months at a time. So when you're answering those questions, whether you're pretending to be a Powhatan Indian or an English settler, it says, tell someone at home or write your responses to the questions below. So you can either talk to an adult through it by answering those questions just by saying them, or you can write the answers to your questions below. So if you're going to write them on a piece of paper, you would write down the answer to each of the questions that you're answering either as a Powhatan Indian or as an English settler. And remember, if you're writing, we've got to check our work to make sure that our writing is the best that it can be. That is the end of content for today. And so that is the end of what you are being asked to do for day 2 of Packet 4. So as always, if you have any questions, please feel free to let me know. I'm here to help. And we have 3 more days of the first week of Packet 4. So by the end of this week, you're going to send me 8 pieces of work that you think are your best, 2 from each subject at the end of this week. It's not at the end of the packet, it's at the end of each week so that it's more manageable and so that me and Mr. Overton can give you feedback more quickly. So I hope that you guys have a great day. I hope that you're doing well and finding ways to move your body and stay active and busy while we're stuck at home. I know it's not the most fun, but I'm very excited to get to see you on our Zoom call today at 5:30. So very much so looking forward to that, and I will see you then. Love you and I miss you.